Welcome on back, everyone, for another little in-series skit segment here. I'm Azel, joined by Joshi and Deserex, and this time, as any good break always needs, we're going to play a little game. Who's that Proving Grounds player? Ha-ha! We changed it up on you this time around. Ha-ha! So, this time, we're going to have two players that we're going to be doing trivia about. Gonna start off with the one and then we'll move on to the second one. My goal here is to be naming off things that maybe people don't know about these players. We're gonna have our casters try to guess who I am talking about, as we'll hopefully have a graphic that comes on screen here shortly. But I'm gonna start off with our first player. So in this episode of Who's That Proving Grounds Player, this time we have a blank silhouette, so it's not the player themselves.
So I can't just name them based on the silhouette?
You can't just name it right off the bat like Mark Z did in the regular season. All right, so
unfair.
For this first player. So he started in 2021.
That is so general.
It is very general.
A lot of
That's
players,
exactly what we're going for.
I mean, I did highlight this for Blossoms in the last game.
We'll keep on going.
Keep going.
Fluent in,
That's a nice way to say nope.
Fluent in Mandarin. So he is fluent in Mandarin, which is huge. Not something I was expecting from this player whatsoever.
Wait.
He plays 3 instruments. I don't know what instruments they are, but 3 of them. Very impressive. Honestly,
see, I want to say Blossoms again because I'm pretty sure Blossoms is Chinese.
We're gonna keep going until the end. All right, Josh, so stop.
Okay.
He is a.
I don't know what his headshot looks like.
He's a Shaco support enthusiast. That was a lot of these are personally from the person, so that one.
Who plays Shaco?
Yeah, maybe not in competitive, but Shaco enthusiast. Competed internationally in Wushu, which is actually incredible.
Wow.
Like, I want to know
sick.
a little bit more about that. This was probably going to give it away. Joshi, just shut up. That started in 2021. It was on Striking Vipers.
Okay.
He goes to the University of Pittsburgh, and he had a short stint on Dare Gaming. Let's go ahead and bring it up. It's Blossoms from Wildcard Gaming.
But that's sick. I didn't know most of that. I just knew he started playing last. I feel like I was cheating a little bit because that was like the one thing that I looked up is that he played like starting last year, and then everything else, look, literally the only one of those that gave me any hint was the year they started.
I had it as one full piece. It was started on Striking Vipers in 2021, but I was like, Josh is just going to get it. Like
I would have got it if you said that. I would have got it if you said that.
So,
come on,
love
man.
the smile. Competed internationally in Wushu. Like, that's huge. A Shaco enthusiast. Thank you, Blossoms, for chatting with me and giving me some of those answers. Really awesome to get to shine a little bit of a light on this Wildcard Gaming player. But now on to our second person. Our second Who's That Proving Grounds player.
Drumroll.
So this one was from our producer, Kelsey. Apparently, one of the big standouts for this player was the comms that they had and the way that they were communicating with the team to scouts. They did start in 2020. All right, so 1 year further than Blossoms. First time challenger at 15 years old, which I feel like is just a trend at this point. One trick Katarina to get there. Dual nationality, Polish and American. Likes to ski. Also a high school gym badminton enthusiast. Finished high school this year. Do you have any guesses?
I have a guess, but I want to hear Deserex's guess first.
Oh no.
He also lane swapped.
Busio.
There you go.
Let's go. That Proving Grounds player? It is Busio.
Busio.
So
I didn't know they had dual nationality.
Yeah, I found that out on Leaguepedia. So it is actually really, really cool to get a little bit of information from these guys, right? He specifically shouted out that the first time he ever hit Challenger was on a Katarina as a Katarina one trick. So it was so nice to get a little bit of input from the players on this one. But there's our two who's that at Proving Grounds players.
What is this support bias,
It
Mazel?
is a little bit of a support bias, but two players that obviously need the spotlight, right? These two players have been integral to the win conditions of their teams in setting up the macro decisions, the engages, Blossoms with a little bit newer of a track record, Busio just coming into the middle of the split there after finishing high school. So both these guys on the rise, and I love to put a spotlight on developing players.
Honestly, I'm just really impressed with really young players because like my peak I hit when I was still in college, right?
Oh, hey, let's not throw you under the bus like that yourself, all right?
I was just like, on the one hand, yes, they have more time than me to play the game back then, but like, holy crap, man, these guys are just so good at just like figuring out how to get better, and that's the kind of thing that is super transferable. Learning how to learn is incredible from some of our young players.
I'm just gonna say, for future trivia, saying started in 2020 is like 80% of the amateur.
That's perfect.
Of the amateur
Literally,
rosters coming in Proving Grounds.
Did you watch the first iterations of this? Both times I tried to do this game show, they guessed it either on the first question or before I even got to the trivia.
Give us the silhouette. Come on, the silhouette's more fun.
That's so much easier. I know what most of our players look like.
I don't want that. I want to be able to talk about this trivia. But in all actuality, right? Like I was highlighting these players, it was a fun little segment, but I do want to get to the nitty gritty, right? Like that game was back and forth in the beginning half, and then you guys were saying it in the break, right? It just felt like the slow but steadily silent death came to Wildcard Gaming there.
Yeah, it definitely was a big transition from our first series, right? Where we saw Evil Geniuses just totally take charge. This time, it was 100 Thieves, once bitten, twice shy. They didn't do a whole lot more after that first dive. For most of the rest of the game, they gave over 3 dragons. They gave over every neutral objective prior to that. And then finally, it just comes to the point where it's like, well, I think we're strong enough. Let's line up and fight at the dragon. And then they won both times. That's all it takes.
And this puts a lot of worries for me for 100 Thieves Academy, because they were winning at a time where the comp was starting to fall off. They were having that hard of a time figuring out a way to break through Wildcard's defenses. It was a win nonetheless, but it's showing you that Wildcard still have windows of opportunity to try and take the series back.
Yeah, I mean, you get the best team fighter, you get all these veteran tools, the experience under your belt. It's got to go to all 3 games, right? And I guess the biggest question is, where do Wildcard go after this, right? The Sejuani, obviously a bit of a niche pick for Allurm in the top side. You got Strumpus, Rise in the mid lane. You got a lot of comfort for the team, but it still didn't work out necessarily in that beginning stages, or at least in the macro decisions later on. So it's hard to find like a composition, right, that doesn't feel more comfortable for these guys, but maybe something that leans more towards meta.
Something that I would kind of want to see a little bit more was, I feel like the composition was fine coming out from the side of Wildcard. It's definitely unusual, but it played towards their strengths. The biggest thing is that you can't ask for a whole lot of trigger pull on your champions, right? You have Sejuani and Nautilus. These 2 champions literally stand up in front and go like, go! And then you just say, I'm going to crowd control that guy! And then you lock them down. But we didn't see that at the very end, right? It was definitely Wildcard giving over a lot of ground as they were potentially trying to go for the Mountain Soul, and they just gave over so much ground that it forced Griffin to try and steal.
It felt like if they had Minui, I could see this game going over towards Wildcard, because Minui, he likes to play champions like Aphelios that have these late game team fight presences. The Kaisa, it was just too hard countered over in the bottom lane. Wixie and Busio played so well to make sure that was a non-factor, and it kind of stopped a lot of the follow-up damage that Wildcard were trying to bring for their team fights.
Yeah, and I think obviously that iteration needs to be iterated on going into the next game specifically, but you look at the strength like in that top side of the map. That's what we talked about so much for Wildcard Gaming going into this series, and that needs to be the strength. That's where they need to play through, and I think coming back to that question, right, how do you utilize that top side of the map to ensure safety or at least playability from the bottom side? The Kaisa is cool, but you see that Wixie and Busio have answers to it. These 2 guys, Wixie and Busio, have been some of the most niche and unique counter pickers, I guess I feel like, in Academy, and it feels like they always have an answer for things. And so to me, it's go for more comfort. Yes, there's these cool new niche builds in the ADC position right now, but I just need something that's going to hit hard in the late game that you can get there with.
Yeah, or even just like an Ezreal, allow Blossoms
Yeah.
to move around the map a little bit more. And we know that Sonar plays a lot of this in solo queue, so it's something that they could definitely bring to the forefront, be very safe during the laning phase, and allow Blossoms to try and move with your top half of the map, because Griffin spent more time bottom lane than top lane, and that was very surprising to me.
I'm not too taken aback by Griffin being towards that bottom side. I would like it more as long as we just had Alorum on something that could stay safe towards there, that could play that brick wall strategy that we were talking about that we normally see from the top side of Wildcard Gaming. We didn't get to see that. The wall got broken through. Gamsu was able to put on a pretty good clinic towards that top side. So as long as we can get more safety out of Alorum to free Griffin to keep his attention onto Strumpus, onto the bot lane, I think there would be better odds for Wildcard.
Don't put all the eggs into the 1v5 Gamsu in the bottom lane basket this time around. That's what I would say for Wildcard Gaming. But guys, we are ready for Champ Select for game number 2 of the second best of 3 of the night. Let's see if they can take it the distance, as we are ready.
Bye, Lennon.
Bye, lemons. I'm gonna call them lemons now because we're doing trivia, Josh. We're doing trivia, and you know the trivia that most people don't know is that Lennon was originally called Lemons beforehand. You know, his old username before he switched over to Mazel.
What about you?
What about
Did you have any names before Deserex?
Always Deserex. Always Deserex. We know Kangas with Sir Butt Kick. You know, that's one of
Yeah.
everyone's favorite to kind of make fun of him with. But we are ready to get into the draft now. Wildcard Gaming, 100 Thieves Academy. Last chance here. There is no second chance. This is your final life. You earn it if you get the dub.
This might be our fastest day, right?
Yeah, really.
There's a potential maximum 6 games. We are now at the spot where it's a maximum 5. We might be done in 4 if 100 Thieves are able to find another win. And this time it's Wildcard who are going to be banning away the Kaisa. And that's a little bit interesting to me, right? You just saw that it was very manageable, but if Wildcard don't feel like they could answer it in the same way the 100 Thieves would, you go right on back to a spot where it's like, well, this champion's pretty darn good. It's multiple lane flexible. You can do a lot of things with it. And now 100 Thieves are looking to find their way to just close out the series. They feel like a lot more free because they're getting their opponents to ban their own champions.
I'm going back to the marksman role once again because Sonar is going to be the big talk when it comes to Wildcard. Well, there it is.
From
Jinx
Arcade.
gets locked in right away. I'm happy with that for Wildcard. I like it much more than the Kaisa because it does play a little bit more towards Minui styles, and that is what Wildcard's used to.
And it does mean that we are likely to see something much more standard coming out from 100 Thieves as well, seeing as the Lucian seemed like a very direct counter to the Kaisa, but Xayah, a champion that hasn't really been seeing a whole lot of play back and forth recently, and going to be picked up by Wixie, something very safe, but also has a Dalit builds that can go into. We'll get a bit more information on the rest of the draft to kind of figure out what it is that Wixie is trying to do with this, because this champion is just all around pretty decent.
This one is catching me off guard. If I was expecting a Xayah, I was expecting it more on a Wildcard side because it's something Sonar loves to play in his solo queue games. This will be brought together with the Lee Sin, which Xayah, she does a deceptive amount of front load damage if you can get the Feather Collar. Lee Sin could complement that damage quite a bit, so we do got that damage coming in for 100 Thieves Academy. Response out of Wildcard is the Viego, and on bench the Kench, Tom locked in.
Oh, interesting. I do really like this combination. Obviously, Tom Kench and Jinx provides a lot of safety to your AD carry. On the other side, though, 100 Thieves, a very yellow-red composition so far, honestly, with the
Like
Xayah Lee Sin. Yeah, I like the theme, right? Just got to make sure you do it. They are going to be locking in the Rakan. So this is a combination that is quite strong coming out from the 100 Thieves bottom lane, but it doesn't have obvious ways to get through the shields of Rakan. Instead, you're just going to be trying to pick one person, knock them up, and try and get as much damage down as possible. But I feel like this is going to be something that is going to allow Busio to roam a lot more, which isn't something that he's necessarily known for. He tends to be rather static in the bottom lane.
This reminds me so much of like 2020 meta and how you would draft on red side, where you grab one of the lovers duo to try and bait the team to grab the other one. Having the Lee Sin, the Rakan, and the Xayah, there's very interesting things you're able to do with this in terms of engaging and in terms of getting a lot of damage in. I want to see how the rest of this is going to shape out once they do start selecting their solo lanes.
Yeah, I mean, again, double bans towards Alorum's top side, the Poppy and the Urgot, two of the more unusual champions, right? I feel like Concept brings a lot of Urgot experience to most of our Academy players because he also has been playing it quite a bit, but nobody plays Poppy other than Alorum. But also, nobody plays Sejuani other than Alorum. So, you know, there's a lot of things that are in the Alorum pool that he could pull out at a moment's notice, and Gamsu throwing down the gauntlet with Gangplank.
All right, GP locked in for Gamsu on that top side. Now I'm dying to see what is Alorum going to take into this one. He does have counter pick priority for Wildcard.
We'll see. This is definitely something that is very different from what we just saw from the Aatrox, and the Scion would make a lot of sense. Kind of hard to push around, is very much that bit of a wall that you're talking about, but I'm looking through Gamsu's history. He has played one Gangplank game so far this season. It was a loss up against Immortals in early February, and prior to that, nothing, right? This is not something that we've been seeing out from Gamsu all that often, and this is something that is very, very different, pulling out in an potential elimination game.
However, for Alorum, the Scion is to be expected from him. We've already hyped up the beefy boy and the tanks he likes to play. More comfort coming out from Wildcard, though. It's not going to be the Rise this time for Strumpus. Azir locked in.
I do like this coming through for Strumpus. Again, very classic coming over, and everybody, it feels like, is going towards something that they were quite good on in previous seasons. Of course, you know, Sonar and Blossoms as kind of our relative unknowns. Everybody plays Jinx. You kind of have to if you want to be playing in high elo solo queue or even in competitive at all. And then Blossom's going to be going on the Tahm Kench, providing a lot of safety towards the back line of Wildcard. I really like this coming out from the blue side of the map. We'll see if it's enough to get them to a game 3.
Now, what are you expecting on the bottom side of the map? We have the lock-in of Tahm Kench and Jinx, and we know it's a bloodthirsty bottom lane. At least if it was Minui, we have Sonar now still in that role. But the question mark here is our first time in a long time seeing the Lovers duo towards the bottom side, Zai and Rakan locked.
Yeah, not something that has been super common recently. I do really like it because it does create a lot of safety. You have a lot of early game proactivity that you can go for, and it matches a lot of the damage that Tahm Kench can potentially throw out early on in the game because he's got so many strong base ratios. But when you have Zaya's W given to herself and to Rakan as well, suddenly you can overcome a lot of just the base damage that Wildcard will have. So there's a lot of aggression coming through from the 100 Thieves bottom lane, and hopefully for them will be enough to actually bully through Sonar and Blossoms again.
All right, do you see the potential for dive buddies, Joshi? Do you see it coming out from 100 Thieves Academy?
They're
Because I
friends.
very much see it coming up. I mean, this is a lot of mobility for, this is a lot of moving parts out of 100 Thieves Academy that can set up these very, very nasty dives that do a lot of damage a little bit too quick to respond to.
Yeah, but the other thing that we got to pay attention to is whenever there's a Gangplank in the game, you got to track where his barrels are. Later on, it is something where later on Gamsu can create a lot of space and make sure that Sonar does not get to participate in a lot of these team fights. So there's a lot of pressure going to be on Gamsu later on, but in the early parts of the game, we're just going to see how well he actually does, whether or not he's going to get attacked by Griffin. And I'm not expecting to spend a whole lot of time looking at how Alorum and Gamsu are going to be interacting this game.
But I mean, that's one of the nice things about the Gangplank, right? You get to participate in being a dive buddy without actually being there thanks to the cannon barrage.
It's like Ziggs. I feel like the same thing, as we do finally have ourselves getting onto the Rift. It is game 2 between Wildcard Gaming and 100 Thieves. If Wildcard lose, it is done for their spring split, whereas 100 Thieves, if they end up going down and Wildcard win it, they will have one more game that'll be the decider about which one of these teams gets to continue playing Improving Grounds and which one just has to watch from the sidelines.
And again, at the top of this entire series, we talked about how both of these teams are trying to make up for mistakes that they had earlier in their seasons. For Wildcard Gaming, it was that slip-up during the Open Qualifiers number 2 that pretty much stopped them from participating in the circuit qualifiers. You saw the thing with 100 Thieves Academy on the opposite side of things. They had a phenomenal start to the season. Second half, it was just all red afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, they were, in fact, our last place team, if you only take standings from the second round robin into account. And for a team that we were expecting big things of, it was not what we wanted. And so, as you said, kind of paying for their sins. We will see which one of these teams is truly underseeded going into the rest of Proving Grounds. And I feel like Wildcard, just as we said with Maryville, I feel like both of these teams could potentially have done better if it wasn't just for like 1 or 2 games that they dropped previously in the season. So there's lots of opportunities for a Wildcard to try and find an upset, but it's not the easiest thing. It is an amateur team going up against an academy team. And despite Beatdown's trash talk, don't think it's as close as we were initially making it out to be.
Hurts, right? It hurts always thinking back and just thinking, man, that one thing, that one little play, if I just change this one thing a millisecond. But it's all what it comes down to. You know, you get what you earn. You know, Wildcard 100 Thieves, they haven't earned their life yet, so it's the price to pay. It's match point currently.
That's brutal.
It
You gotta
is.
earn your life, man.
It is. That is what this is right here. This
That's
is why
what
we've
happens.
colloquial called this the gulag for a lot of people.
Yeah, I've heard that term thrown around a couple of times as we see Strompest and Jimmy just hitting each other over and over. I'm expecting to spend most of our time in the next couple of minutes looking at how Sonar Blossoms versus Wixie Busio goes. Also, whenever I see Blossom's name, I always make me think of Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah. Bubbles.
Bubbles,
Buttercup.
Blossom. Yeah. We'll see if they got the power. Did you know that they don't have fingers, like, canonically?
Wait. Canonically?
Yeah, canonically, every other
Have you gone to the
character,
Powerpuff Girls wiki?
No, but I have watched the show. All the younger people are again just like, what is happening? It's like, it's your fault for being born younger than I am.
Stop exposing our age, Josh, please.
Well, I'm not as old as you are. Anyway, Kenvi and Griffin fighting each other.
Okay, fight breaking now. I'm going to remember that one, Josh, as Kenvi hops over the wall. Strompest looking to chase him down, but hey, look who's waiting in the wings. It's Blossom over the wall. There's the Abyssal Voyage looking to chase down Kenvi. Kenvi, oh so low, gets pulled back in. Griffin will grab that first blood, but at the cost of his life as Busio returns the favor. Now Busio low on the run. Doesn't get caught out by the stun of the Tongue of Blossom, so a 1-for-1 trade is where this ends up. But I will remember that, Josh.
I don't blame you. You should remember it. But we do see lots of opportunities here for these small outplays. And the big thing to note is the fact that Griffin, with his path, doesn't actually hit level 4 despite doing the 4 camps. That level difference, or that lack of level difference, means that there is enough opportunity here for the rest of 100 Thieves to kill Griffin before he can get the reset, right? The kill had already come through, he just wasn't able to get it. And also, fortunately, for Blossom's not quite able to get it. It was a good juke coming up from Busio to keep himself alive as well.
All right, now Griffin on the top side, a slow onto Gamsu, but Griffin wants the snare. He gets it, rooting Gamsu, eating an orange. It is going to be K. Gamsu gets a recall.
Going to be all right, and we are seeing a little bit more pressure towards the top side this game than we were seeing previously as hello. As we are even going to be seeing opportunities for Griffin to be coming up and trying to make sure that Lorm doesn't fall as far behind this game as he did previously.
That only makes me feel older now that I made that reference. Ate an orange and it was K.
I mean, I feel like more League of Legends players are going to understand that one, because it's not like it's disappeared from the game. Right, like we still call it pink words, but they haven't been pink for seasons. They're red.
I call them control words now. I still call them ADCs though, not marksmen.
But do you call them ninja tabbies or plated two
I call them ninja tabbies.
See?
I call them ninja tabbies.
There you go. There's just like all these little things that have changed, right? Like, I still just call it Ludens, and I forget that it is no longer Ludens Echo, it's Ludens Tempest, right? It's just these little small things where it's like, yeah, they're basically the same thing. But we see Kenvi and Jimmy, and this is good. This is actually good. Something that I was criticizing them for previously is that they weren't always invading with the support of their solo laners, and now Jimmy goes with them.
Gets the knockup, but only to exchange harassment. You do see that both junglers pathing towards this direction. It's going to be Kenvi who goes the opposite way back into his jungle.
And we're also seeing Jimmy hovering up towards the top side. Alarm is fairly low. There's a big wave here that he does not want to give up. So Jimmy looking to make another proactive play.
All right, here we go. Jimmy on the top side gets the charm, sends him towards that zombie mode. An easy play for 100 Thieves Academy in the top side.
Okay, Griffin's bottom side. There's plays all over the map.
All right, now looking for more. The gray health available for Blossom's going to use that to just heal up instead. Not popping the shield as Kenvi applies pressure. It's going to draw the attention of Strompest, who begins his roam. See if he'll commit to it. A lot of priority going over towards Wildcard for this Drake as Kenvi walks around the bush.
Yeah, Wildcard again continuing their streak of fighting these early game rotations, making sure that they can pick up a lot of these dragons, but Kenvi's here.
Sonic Wave onto Griffin. Griffin level 4 cannon barrage goes out. So much damage. Oh, so fast. Kenvi gets that kill. Puts his attention onto Blossom's Busio. Grabs another. And with that, 100 Thieves Academy get positioning on the Drake.
This is more like it, Eric. We're seeing 100 Thieves coming alive way earlier. this game than last time. They're not going for the same kind of dive, but they're just willing to scrap in ways that we haven't seen from this team over and over. And I mean, credit where credit is due. Kenvi just willing to have the trigger pull for his team, but also Wixie and Busio are not letting Sonar play. He's down so significantly over and over again, and even though he's got the wave push, it is going to get canceled out. But Kenvi is willing to go, right? This is a situation where Gamsu, he doesn't need to be there if you have the cannon barrage, and it's just a matter of the rest of 100 Thieves recognizing that the play is happening, going forward, and looking for opportunities to actually win instead of just taking this game long.
He's there in spirit, and that spirit is going to earn him an assist. It's also going to earn him the attention of the rest of Wildcard pathing up here. Gamsu, the wiser, will just walk back towards his inner tower. Wants nothing to do with his death squad, who is currently invading the jungle of Kenvi.
Yeah, I do like it coming out, though, for Wildcard. They are punching back earlier and earlier, right? Especially when we were seeing what Maryville was doing, right? There's a big opportunity for Wildcard to try and still play this game out. They have to recognize that they're a decent amount behind, but it's not so far behind that they don't have the tools to make plays happen. You can never discount Strumpus' ability to go for a Shreeman shuffle. You can never really count out the fact that Alorm, if he finds a good flank, can do a ton of damage. But the problem is, this is happening, right? It's Wixie and Busio 2v2 preventing Wildcard from walking
Getting
out.
zoned out from your own creep wave in the bottom lane. That's one of the worst positions to be in for Sonar. Falling down about 20 CS now. Here comes the engage into the middle lane. Going in with the dinner bell is Alorum. Tries to find Jimmian, but the charm lands onto Alorum. Now Kenvi and Jimmian trying to play around with this one, getting some chip damage in. No kills going through, just priority on the inside track for the Drake. Still 3 minutes before that's up, so being chased right out. Busio gets that priority right back over to 100 Thieves Academy.
Temp was good, but Jimmian's defensive play too strong. Dodging out from the Shreeman shuffle, not getting scooped up there, and buying himself a lot of space. Now 100 Thieves are going to turn it right around. It is their turn to play, says Mom, and so they're going to be picking up the red buff just like Griffin did previously.
All right, Griffin's going to try and wrestle the controller out. Not going to happen, though. Sadly enough, can be too strong. Gets the red buff for himself, and now the engage looking to come back out from 100 Thieves Academy. Kicked over the wall is Griffin. Wixie sweeps it up, gets a double kill on top of it. It's a side of Frog as Wixie gets his second kill of the game.
Yo, I'm liking this version of 100 Thieves coming through. They're actually doing things. They're looking for these big plays. They're going for invades that are getting backed up by all of their lanes. And suddenly, it feels like 100 Thieves, now that it is with their lives on the line, they are willing to do it. And Busio, watch this. It doesn't look like there's potentially an engage going through. He actually like cheats back before going right back into the rest of Wildcard. And when you're caught up in a choke like that, before Sonar really has any items, he doesn't do any damage yet.
And now Wixie 2-0-0. A good influx of gold coming to him. He was already doing well in that bottom lane. Gamsu forced to flash over the wall after getting caught out there. But Wixie, hey, he's winning the battle against the coach of Wildcard. He's doing exactly what he needs to for 100 Thieves Academy to just destroy every avenue of Wildcard.
Yeah, but we are going to have to pay attention to something, Eric. Alorm is going to be going up against the Gangplank and the Xayah, right? And he can stack quite a bit of armor because he knows he's not going to be really at threat of dying from Ahri later on. So 100 Thieves are going to have to be careful that they have the tools necessary to take down Sion, right? Yeah. It is a huge difference in the fights if Wixie feels strong enough to walk past Sion or if he feels like he needs to hit Sion, because that's going to take forever. Right, he's going to take, easily the entire rest of the team fight in order to try and hit Sion, whereas the rest of his team trying to dive past, pick up Strumpus, pick up Sonar. Suddenly, it just is the difference between having the super fed Xayah and not having them. And look at that, 1,500 gold.
That's the hope of getting some of this tank scaling as Busio over the wall goes for the engage and finds it. Oh, so easy onto Strumpus, gets shut down. The rocket onto the back end as the Abyssal Voyage comes in from Blossoms. It's already done. Jimmian and Kenvi have accomplished the heist.
Where was this even last game, man? 100 Thieves are looking forward every single time, and oh my god, Sonar doesn't get to play the game. He doesn't get to farm. He doesn't get to walk up to his wave. Wixie is just saying, like, come on, try me. You're not gonna. You don't want no smoke.
Come on. I'm not a firefighter.
There we go, but 20 seconds left on the team fight timer coming up. Wildcard are in a pretty desperate position from this spot. It was much closer last time. They had already picked up a dragon and a half at this point, and that doesn't make sense, but they were able to pick up the first dragon, were well on their way to their second, but they are now down 4,000 or 5,000 gold. They are down 1 kill to 7, and they do not have position to get to this dragon first.
12 minutes into this 100 Thieves Academy, sitting pretty as they start getting control over this dragon side. Infernal Drake now on the map, and Kenby is headed right into that direction as Strumpest walks right into a charm. Now Wixie turning fire onto Blossoms, gets caught out by the zap as Griffin tries to set up the potential gank over here. Thistle Voyage goes off, doesn't find the knock-up thanks to the ultimate of Wixie, and now here comes the counter-offensive coming in from 100 Thieves Academy, looking for the Sonic Wave over the wall, doesn't land onto Griffin. It does clear the wave, and it does get Wildcard to evacuate this side of the map. They might lose more. Sonar loses his flash to try and stay alive, or Deception over the wall. The damage was too fast as 100 Thieves Academy. They continue the dive. They'll go through every tower. They don't care as long as they take out this bot lane.
This is one of the best games I've seen from 100 Thieves all season long. They're just looking really good. They've come alive. They're taking control. They're going for fights. This is what we were seeing from them at the beginning of the season when they picked up all of their wins. They're going to be getting another dragon. They're going to be picking up the turret, and suddenly, you know, it's 4,000 or 5,000. It's over 6 at this point. They're snowballing. This is the only place they're getting attacked is top lane.
Oh, he gets it. He gets it. The steal. It's done. This is the comeback right here for Wildcard. But hey, it is an Infernal. It's an Infernal denied from 100
This is
Thieves Academy.
1v3, Busio. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Busio. Okay, I appreciate the effort. He could have gotten Strumpest. There was the real chance there. He has Ignite available. Just a little bit more ambitious when Blossom started coming in.
I'm really annoyed that it's really hard to tell if the ults are available because of a visual bug. And so I'm unsure if Blossoms had his ultimate available during that last play. But as we take a look, we get to see how Gamsu goes down. Strumpest looking for his opportunity in, and very clean, very collected. Yep, Gamsu can't really move, and Strumpest is like, okay, scoop, and we're done here. Nice. Well done. Very clean.
Thieves Academy not allowing Wildcard to have the same presence like they had in game number 1. A quick adaptation came out from them to make this into a more devastating game for Wildcard. Now Busio trying to set up a dive on the poor Blossoms over here. Sonar going to join the defense of this top lane tower.
Yeah, and once again, Wixie, right, super fed this game. Not necessarily off of kills, but largely off of plates. Kenby looks for Strumpest. Oh,
that was interesting little movement there. I'm not sure if that ultimate is still available. The charm does land. They will catch out Strumpest. I believe the Fog of War might have canceled out the animation there. Nonetheless, Strumpest still goes down.
Yep, and Griffin going to be losing his jungle.
Oh, going to be losing his life potentially. Has to burn his flash to be able to stay alive. Has to burn his ultimate, excuse me. It's more authority established by 100 Thieves next Academy.
Yeah. I mean, Jimian on this Ahri has been looking really good. He looks for plays that we haven't necessarily seen him do on a lot of other characters. And I mean, the only person that's like not super far ahead for 100 Thieves is Gamsu, but that's, I mean, we say that, but we also have to note, like, he's still Gangplank. He's still just got a lot more gold off of his Q than any other champion would at this point. So Gamsu should be all right, but he's getting attacked right now again.
Trying to set up a collapse towards this side. You can see Griffin taking the top route. It's not fast enough, though.
Not fast enough.
Comes down to it. Alorum.
You're too slow.
Yeah, you're too slow. Even with that ultimate, you got to pop that, but around the corner, too bad for you. So sad as 100 Thieves Academy start focusing over onto this top lane. Another brick picked up for Wixie, who has been phenomenal in this game thus far.
Yeah, also, feels bad for Sonar, right? He's continuing to get pushed off of CS and experience, now down a whole level in the bottom lane, which is kind of a lot for AD carries. It's not often that there's such a large difference between them, just based off of just pushing people off the wave, as we've been seeing from Wixie and Busio. They've taken 2 turrets. Most of that gold has been going over to Wixie. So even though he's only up about 6 waves at this point, he's definitely way stronger than that. And that's part of why we're seeing some of these objective bounties come through. So Wildcard, I feel like they have win conditions later when Strumpest and Sonar just get to run over a potential team fight, but it's so hard to even get there when 100 Thieves are spiking now, right? They are so strong now, and I don't know if Wildcard are going to have an opportunity to get to the later.
Wow. Do you see that Spirit Rush already used by Jimmy, and he was trying to get a Sonar in the bottom lane. I saw him hop over 2 walls there. I'm curious if one of those was maybe a Blast Plant. I thought it was Spirit Rush, but doesn't seem to be it. It was probably a Blast Plant. No, it was Spirit Rush. Spirit Rush was used. So that's how hungry 100 Thieves Academy are and how confident they feel about the map, that they pretty much own the place. They can go where they want, when they want. They want Strompfest, so they will get Strompfest. A dive onto the bottom lane. Gamsu trying to fight it out. He can't pull it off like he did on the Aatrox last time. He will fall, but does clear the wave and buys that tower some extra time.
Yeah, but it is. I'm very impressed, right? The Jimian from the most of the season would not have used Spirit Rushes over the wall in order to try and get to Sonar. He is very confident right now. He is looking good. They get the first inhibitor turret. For only 17 minutes, the Rift Shell will crash, but they will finally get pushed off. But it's so many structures going over to the side of 100 Thieves. The only objective that they've given up so far is the one that got stolen by Sonar's ultimate.
All right, we have a reset coming out from 100 Thieves Academy as they set up for the next Drake. That's coming in the next 30.
Are they purposely letting this die?
Oh.
Wow.
Wildcard? Oh, yeah. That is demoralizing.
No, that was intended. They 100% wanted to let that die, right? The whole point is
keep the wave pushed and farm up.
Yeah, I mean that's the theory of it. I'm not convinced I agree with that. I know LS fans in the chat are like, but LS said it's true. It's like, well, yes, but you're already so far behind that the gold doesn't do anything, and the pressure is more valuable on the rest of the map. So it's not clear to me that it was a good decision, but it was a very intentional decision, and it's very rare. I don't think I've ever seen a team purposefully lose an inhibitor before. So props to them for that. You know, they're actively thinking about the game, and they're making a kind of a Hail Mary. It's like, yes, we need the gold later in the game, and this is our way to do it.
I think that's the best way to put it. It's a Hail Mary. That's what it comes down to. It's a ball thrown on a prayer. And
living on a prayer.
Only time will tell if this pays off. Currently, it looks like that's going to be far from the answer. Siege potentially being set up here from 100 Thieves Academy while they send Gamsu up over towards that top lane to continue pushing in that wave and denying a lot of the resources that Griffin in his own jungle just can't seem to acquire. See if Alorum goes for the engage right here. The Dinner Bell is ready to be popped, but now the engage comes out of Busio. Dinner Bell goes the opposite way from Alorum.
Ding, ding, ding.
Wildcard, they don't want to fight.
Remember that Wildcard scales really, really well in relation to the way that 100 Thieves are trying to scale. Just because Alorum becomes unkillable. If he can get to like 3-4 items, it's almost impossible for 100 Thieves to punch through him. Whereas on the side of 100 Thieves, they still have a Lee Sin. They're looking for plays now.
Oh, going after Griffin. He gets caught out by the charm. Devoured. Is it going to be enough? He's so low. He slips away, but Jimian finally catches him. There comes the Emperor's Divide. Health bars low for 100 Thieves Academy as they flash away. It's still not enough, though. It's going to be a 1-for-1 exchange. Jungler for mid lane. At the door are minions wailing away onto those Nexus towers.
That's a lot of farm that's going to be going over to Wildcard, but is it worth it when you have to devote multiple members over here and give up another structure on the other side of the map? That's 600 gold, that's 2 kills that Wixie just picked up without even participating in the fight. So this is like why you got to be very careful when you make these kind of decisions. Is it worth the amount of time that it takes for me to go pick up these minions when I am going to be giving over so much pressure on the map? We're going to take another look at the replay, and remember, this is 100 Thieves diving into Wildcard's base at under 20 minutes, right? Even though there is some opportunities for Strompfest to come in and actually get this Truman shuffle onto 2 members, it only picks up Jimian. Yes, they give a shutdown over to Jinx, but it is still 11,000 gold behind. 100 Thieves are still in total control, and they have the freedom to try and make that happen again. They were only 1 or 2 missed kill shots away from potentially ending the game.
Even with Strompfest getting such a beautiful Emperor's Divide, nowhere near enough to swing this game in the favor of Wildcard at the current state. 20 minutes into this, it is devastating to have a 10k deficit. And 100 Thieves Academy, they're pushing their lead like no other. You have to love the type of gameplay they're doing because it is ruthless, and it shows that they understand where their strengths are as they start setting up around this Baron. Strompfest caught out in the jungle. Busio and Jimian collapse.
Good stuff coming through. And I'll be honest, when I came into today, I was expecting to spend a lot of time talking about Kenby. I was expecting to spend a lot of time talking about Wixie and Busio. And, you know, to his credit, Busio's been playing fantastically. But I feel like the star of this game has really been Jimmy. Right? He's been looking really good coming over. Like, he played for Mafia Esports and Hong Kong Attitude and J-Team, right? He had a pretty decent history coming over from Taiwan, but I was really impressed with his defensive play, but now he's so aggressive all of a sudden. He's just looking to make things happen.
And Busio looking for Griffin. So low is this Baron. Griffin not over the wall, doesn't have flash, so he will not get rewarded with the Baron still. He might get rewarded with the Sonic Wave on the back of the head as Kenby jumps in, lands it, follows through, and takes him down.
There you go. So many opportunities for them to continue going forward, and it's just a very clean Baron take. There's not a lot for Wildcard to try and do back on the map, and they just need time, man. They need so much time. They're not going to get it because now 100 Thieves going to be barreling for it. They might not even have to go for the Dragon. They have the Baron buff. They can just walk in onto the base and watch out for Charms from Jimmy, and watch out for barrels from Gamsu, watch out for Busio just, you know, listening to too many Mulan songs, just going over the wall to just start a fight.
We could all use that time, Josh. We could all very much use that time.
Okay.
Running in is going to be Alarm. It's a double knock-up. A lot of damage onto Jimmy. He's going to try and use the Spirit Rush to buy some time. And he'll get just that, or will he? A minion thrown at his face, but he has yet to fall. Orb of Deception provides just a touch of healing.
Base.
But a new challenger has arrived, and that is going to be Strumpus sidestepping the Super Mega Death Rocket. The base is now in shambles as two members will take the recall. Strumpus just going to try and sweep up the remains of this Ahri. Jimmian goes down. Busio goes for the engage. Doesn't get too much there. A shutdown going off onto Strumpus. Good amount of gold picked up there. But the base, you said it, Joshi, it's in shambles.
It is totally going down. They've used a lot of ultimates. We'll see if Wildcard can do anything in 5v4.
Oh, they're looking for the engage now. They want to find the team fight. It's going to be a 3v5. Out comes the Feather Color. Wixie doing work here, placing those feathers. It is too dangerous for Wildcard to advance off of the moves of Wixie alone.
Crazy stuff coming through. Look at how low these inhibitors are. 100 Thieves trying to find it, but Jimmian is still dead. When he's back up, he can teleport in and look to try and end this game. 100 Thieves playing it slow. They know they're 4v5 for a little while longer, and as the Azir turret goes down, Jimmian starts teleporting top.
Azir turret's down, 2 low inhibitors. Wixie finally able to take down the middle. Now 100 Thieves Academy focusing onto the bot one. 3 inhibitors down. No, the top one respawn, but Jimmian is there to send it right back onto that cooldown timer. Now 100 Thieves next with waves into every single lane. The last stand coming out from Wildcard Gaming. There comes the Feather Collar. A great ultimate out of Wixie is going to take down Alorum as holding the line is Blossoms. Abyssal Dive comes through, but it's only to get away and protect Strumpus. Jimmian finally falls, but Gamsu with the double follow it through with the Dragon's Rage. Wixie will chase him down with the feathers, and it is too easy for 100 Thieves Academy. They will take the 2-0 in this series of the play-ins of the LCS Proving Grounds.
And there you go, Academy 2-0 on the day, winning the first 4 games over Amateur thus far, and it is honestly really, really impressive. Wixie, again, throughout both games, quietly massive bot lane gap, preventing Sonar from doing a whole lot of anything. But it was the solo lanes of 100 Thieves that stepped up. Gamsu in game 1 on the Aatrox, finding solo kills, and was realistically the one who literally 1v5 at the end. And now Jimmian stepping up as well in order to create space.
Jimmian, that was the way to step up, and he stepped up big on that Ahri. It was quite the performance. I love the having the confidence to bust out Desire Rakan, Busio, Wixie. They performed so well with
Lucian
that one.
Bronze Eye Rakan. Like, what is happening? This is not what the meta has been looking like for the entire spring split thus far, but Wixie Busio is like, we're good. We're going to do this. Don't worry about it.
And 100 Thieves Academy are good. They've earned their extra life. We're going to break down that game a little bit more, but not after a short break. Right after a short break, excuse me. I'm waiting for Mazel. I need him back here. I need my host baby, so we'll be right back.
Welcome on back for our Proving Grounds post-match interview powered by Verizon. I am joined by one and only Busio, the support for 100 Thieves Academy, my dude. I know you might have heard Deserex before the interview started, but the Chad Rakan, my man, it makes a return. How does it feel? You guys were popping off down there.
Yeah, I mean, that game was pretty fun. Like the first game, we had a pretty slow comp, but game 2, we had a lot of agency and we could fight all the time, and we fought all the time.
Exactly. Hey, it works out. Speaking of working out, it seems like you and Wixie are back on the grind, back on the synergy. There were some issues, I guess, in the team in the last little bit of the regular season. Do you feel like that synergy between you and Wixie has re-strengthened itself?
Yeah, we were definitely having a lot of 2v2 issues, but we just sat down, took it really seriously, started watching a lot of VODs and talking more about what we wanted to do, and now we're way more on the same page.
It seems like night and day. It really does. Now, going into the competition of Proving Grounds, a lot of new people, a lot of new talent itself. You were going up against Blossoms in this first best of 3. It was an elimination best of 3. If you did not win here, your season was over. As an upcomer yourself, do you have any words of wisdom or any motivational words for Blossoms as they bow out of spring?
Yeah, I mean, this series doesn't really define you. It's just one series. Like, if you had a bad day, you had a bad day. It's more important to just learn from it and come back stronger next time.
Exactly that. I love it. Thank you so much, Busio. And little bit of me question, I guess, for game number 1. Was Gamsu just taking over comms in that 1v5 in the bot lane tower dive? Like, was he just screaming his head off or what?
No, we were kind of screaming our heads off. Gamsu's like, okay, I might be dead. And then I'm just F-king bot, and I just see him 1v5ing, healing off everybody. Everybody's living with 1 HP. It was pretty funny.
It was actually hilarious. And hey, you guys won the game because of it. Speaking of earlier, those issues towards the regular season, you were talking about 2v2, but it seemed holistically the team was having some communication issues, especially in the mid to late game. Did you guys do anything different? What did you guys do to kind of pull that back and have such a strong performance here in your first showing of PG?
Like a lot of in our earlier series, we were just fighting randomly, not really when we're stronger and together. And now, like, if somebody's calling, can we fight here? Can we fight here? Like, it's more of it's a multi-person speech. We all need to talk with each other, and then we can decide if it's good to fight. And with that, we're playing together, we're fighting together, and then we're also choosing fights where we are actually favored. And if it is a big skill fight, we're all ready for it. It's much less random, so it makes the game way simpler.
Yeah, it seems like it's really coming together. Next up is facing No Team, one of the titans of amateur itself in the developmental league for NA. How does it feel? You know, obviously it's going to double elim, so even if things go rough, you still have a lot to go for, but you are facing one of the tallest tasks next. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I don't really think about the opponent that much. Like, they're probably really good because I think they're top of amateur or one of the top teams. But I think as long as we focus on ourselves and just play to how we want to play, we'll be fine for sure.
True winner's mentality right there. I love it. Well, last little bit here, Busio. Do you have anything you want to say? Anybody you want to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah. Shout out to my team. I think it has been rough in the past couple weeks, but today we were definitely working as a team. Everybody was positive, and it worked out.
Appreciate you so much, Busio. Well, stay strong and keep that team together, as we'll see you guys next time in Proving Grounds.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and bring back my lovely caster duo in Deserex and Joshi to break down the rest of the day, or at least to help us round out the rest of the day and break down what we did see on the day. It was a fun one, guys. Great cast on the day, and fun way to kick off Proving Grounds here.
I'll break it down. Amateur got slaughtered for the play-ins. That's what we broke down.
I wasn't going to say
They have
nothing, but, you know.
They have tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I want to give we're going to go do a recap of the day and obviously see the 2 O's that we got to see today, but I got to give a huge shout out to both the teams that do have to bow out of the spring season today. The Maryville Saints, Wildcard Gaming, PCL, Kind, Get Back, Evan RL, Zyko, Alorum, Griffin, Strumpus, Sonar, Blossoms. it's not the way you wanted the season to end, but please, please keep trying. Like, this is what this is about. It's about proving yourself in any way possible. Today might not have been your day, but you guys have what it takes. So this is my special shout out to you guys. Please, I want to see you guys in the summer, and please keep trying. So it is unfortunate they have to bow out of the day, but for the Academy teams, 2-0 victories, steaming on ahead into the main event of Proving Grounds.
Yeah, and honestly, it was super short broadcast day. We started at 3 o'clock, and it is not even 6:30, and we are just about to wrap up. But we do see the rest of the bracket, right? Evil Genius is going to be going on to face CLG. 100 Thieves going to be going up against No Team. But tomorrow, we still have more of the play-ins to play.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun to happen because, we were talking about Maryville just a couple seconds ago with their Saints roster. While their A team is ready to do battle, we're talking about Wildcard while their B team is ready to do battle tomorrow.
Exactly that, and bringing up the schedule for the next day as well. You see it in the bracket, but we'll break it down as well. FlyQuest Academy are going to be taking on the Wildcard Aces, and oh no, we don't have the graphic, but we will have those games going on tomorrow. It'll be a fun one, as I was saying. FlyQuest Academy going against Wildcard Aces, and then Maryville University proper taking on TSM Academy. It's going to be some bangers.
Can't wait. I feel like there were moments where I was like, I don't know. I feel like some of these amateur teams might be able to find upsets, and then as soon as I started thinking that, the Academy team was like, nope, stop, Josh. You need to calm down. We are the Academy teams for a reason. We deserve our spots, but they have to earn them, and that's the big thing. And we will see if they can maintain the same record tomorrow.
I'm somewhat excited for Maryville's game right now. They've already proven that they are Giant Slayers. You had that 20-game win streak off 100 Thieves next. That was stopped by Maryville. So if anyone's gonna do an upset, hey, I got my fingers crossed that Maryville can bring something tomorrow.
Well, we've had our first two teams bow out of the tournament and their spring season's over, but it will continue on for Evil Geniuses Academy and 100 Thieves Academy. Tomorrow we are right back, same place, same time, for more action and more chances for these players to prove themselves. We'll see you on Summoner's Rift.